everyone, thank you for choosing Biophilia. I hope this helps you with your study time to make it a bit more easier. If you appreciate all the efforts put into each and every video, do like, share and subscribe and hit the bell icon so you get notified for the upcoming videos. As a good habit, Biophilia ensures to have a brief look at the previous topic for the perfections in the next. So we will revise about few concepts that we had covered in the previous part of this chapter. So let's get into it. So in the previous part of the chapter, we had covered about human heart. So human heart में we had understood that it is a myogenic organ. जैसे human heart myogenic होता है, similarly if you see in the case of insects, it is going to be a neurogenic heart. So we had understood the difference between myogenic and the neurogenic heart. Then we saw कि heart being a very important organ of your body is going to be covered in a two-layered sac that is called as pericardium. फिर हमने human heart के सारे chambers को study किया. We studied the valves of the heart and then we continued our video by understanding about the fetal heart. So if you have seen the previous part of this chapter, you might understand that fetal heart is not going to be the same as the adult heart. तो fetal heart और adult heart में क्या differences है and how do they change to resemble the adult heart is what we had covered in this subtopic. Then we saw about congenital heart diseases. So congenital होते हैं that diseases come from your birth. So we also understood about those and we had seen कि ये सारे जो contractions and relaxations होते हैं heart में. So how do they take place, how signals come and the muscles contract, all that we had covered in the conduction system of the heart. And finally we understood how the heartbeats are there in the cardiac cycle topic. So cardiac cycle किसे बोलते हैं, how do you define it, at what period of time, how the contraction occurs, all that we had seen in the cardiac cycle. So it was a very fun video. You can go and check it out. The video link will be provided in the description box. Human heart के बारे में whatever is needed for your level is going to be covered in that video. So do go and check it out. And we have many more videos regarding human physiology and other chapters of class 11th and 12th. So you can go and check out the channel that is Biophilia Neat and do give a thumbs up if you like all those videos. So now let's come to the main topic of this video, that is blood vessels. So blood vessels हमारे circulatory system में they act similar to the tubes that we have. So जो सारे tubes में से जैसे पानी flow होता है, similarly the blood vessels of this system is going to help the blood to flow. So blood vessels में generally हमें पता है there are arteries, veins, capillaries. There are even many more names for the blood vessels जैसे arterioles, ventrioles, but depending upon how the diameter size varies. So basis of that there are different types of blood vessels, but generally हम arteries, veins and capillaries पे focus करते हैं. So when you have to study about arteries and veins, you should know that there are going to be three coats or three tunics in the walls of these blood vessels. So first the layer that comes is called as tunica externa. तो जैसे tunica is coming from the layer, so जो layer outermost होती है it is called as tunica externa. So outermost layer होती है and it is going to be made up of connective tissues. Second layer उसके नीचे होगी that is called as tunica media. So media is middle layer. So it is going to be composed of smooth muscles. And the last, the innermost layer is going to be called as tunica interna. अब tunica interna जो होती है, in that there are going to be two divisions. First होता है elastic membrane. Since the word is elastic membrane, तो उसमें elastic tissue होता है, and this elastic tissue is made up of yellow fibers. So these yellow fibers are going to be made up of elastin protein. There is a protein that makes these fibers, that is elastin protein, जिसकी वजह से the elastic membrane is formed. So elastic membrane का एक specific relation है with artery that it is going to be thicker in the case of arteries. Now reason उसका very simple है that arteries have blood that flows at higher pressure. तो जैसे प्रेशर ज़्यादा होता है तो walls need elasticity, क्योंकि अगर elastic नहीं होंगे तो the blood vessels can rupture, so you don't want that to happen, so there is a higher amount of elastic membrane in the arteries. फिर second part of the tunica interna is endothelium. So endothelium जो होता है it is going to be made up of flattened epithelial lining on the lumen. So lumen is nothing but the cavity wherein the blood is going to flow. So उसके just जो coating होती है it is going to be because of the flattened epithelial lining. तो जैसे epithelial cells होते हैं so these cells are going to be specially elongated in the case of arteries. So both elastic membrane or endothelium में there is going to be specifications or differences in the case of arteries and veins. Now here there is a table जहाँ पे you can understand the differences between arteries and veins. So generally you know that arteries are going to be the blood vessels that are going to distribute blood from the heart to the different parts of your body, जबकि जो veins होते हैं they are going to collect blood from the different parts and pour it into the heart. अब arteries के बारे में and veins के बारे में there are 4 very important points that you need to remember. These are the next 4 points that you need to remember. These are very important क्योंकि इन्हीं पे से when they are given to you to differentiate कि ये veins है या arteries है, these are going to help you to differentiate them. So if you get the sample of arteries, so how are you going to differentiate them? So these are the next 4 points that you can use. So first of all, arteries की जो tunica media होती है, that is the second layer, it is going to be thicker in the comparison to the veins and it will have more muscle fibers. जबकि veins के case में tunica media होगी thin and it will have fewer muscle fibers. So using this point you can differentiate arteries and veins. Second point आप use कर सकते हो, that is tunica interna. The innermost layer जहाँ पे elastic membrane is going to be strong in the case of arteries. Reason I have told you in the previous slide, because of the higher pressure in arteries, it needs the strength that is provided by the strong elastic membrane. और second था that was more elongated endothelial cells. जबकि veins के केस में tunica interna जो होता है it is going to have a simple elastic membrane along with elongated endothelial cells. Third major point to differentiate arteries and veins, that is walls of artery are thick and muscular जबकि veins thin और non-muscular होते हैं. And the last major point, that is arteries में valves नहीं होते हैं जबकि veins में valves होते हैं to prevent backflow. So if you can remember the previous slide जहाँ पे arteries and veins का differentiation photograph था, in that you can see there are valves that prevent backflow. Then next is going to be arteries are going to have blood flow which is at a faster speed. So faster होता है because there is high pressure क्योंकि the blood needs to get distributed all over the body. Veins के केस में वो fast speed पे नहीं जाता है, so there is going to be comparatively lower pressure in these arteries. So because of that reason जो arteries होते हैं, since the blood pressure is very high in those arteries, they need to have thick walls. So thick walls होने की वजह से they do not collapse. जबकि veins की case में since the pressure is low, the speed is low, in that reasons thin walls होने की वजह से the veins can collapse. Collapse means they can lose their lumen for a while when the blood is not flowing. Next होता है that arteries generally they have tendency to carry oxygenated blood, but एक exception है and the exception is pulmonary artery. So pulmonary artery instead of oxygenated it is going to carry deoxygenated blood, but in general many a times arteries carry oxygenated blood. नाउ सिमिलरली उसका अपोजिट कंडीशन वेन्स में भी आता है, दैट वेन्स जनरली कैरी डीऑक्सीजनेटेड ब्लड, बट एक्सेप्शन इज गोइंग टू बी पल्मोनरी वेन. सो जो 4 important पॉइंट्स हमने देखे थे अबाउट आर्टरीज एंड वेन्स डिफरेंशिएशन, यू कैन ऑल्सो अंडरस्टैंड दोज इन दिस फोटोग्राफ. एंड यू कैन सी कि जो ट्यूनिका मीडिया होता है, दैट इज द मिडल लेयर, that is represented by the white area. So वो arteries में बहुत ज़्यादा होता है, so arteries में वो thick होगा, whereas in veins it is going to be thinner. Second difference हमने देखा था about valves. So in this photograph you cannot see valves very clearly. In the previous slide we have understood the difference between arteries and veins. वहाँ पे valves can be visible. So you can rewind the video and see that photograph to understand the presence and absence of valves. और फिर एक major important यहाँ के photograph से दिखता है, that is about the lumen. The lumen of artery is going to be comparatively smaller in the comparison to the walls of arteries, whereas the lumen of veins is going to be bigger. So with that also you can understand that arteries and veins differentiate हो सकते हैं. Now let's come to the next part, that is about capillaries. So capillaries जो होते हैं, it is going to be the narrowest blood vessels. वो narrowest इतने छोटे होते हैं that they are able to exchange gases and nutrients. So किसके बीच में exchange होता है? It is going to be between the blood and the tissue fluid. So gases में carbon dioxide, oxygen is exchanged. So we saw that in respiratory chapter. Then nutrients exchange होते हैं. In the case of digestion के बाद absorption जो होगा, in that case there is going to be absorption of nutrients. Again those capillaries are involved. And then when we see about capillaries being the narrowest blood vessels, so how narrow they are just one cell layer. वो एक ही सेल जितने मोटे होते हैं, that is the reason they are called as narrowest blood vessels. So these have only a simple squamous epithelium, or since it is related to blood vessels, it is called as endothelium. So you can see in the photograph of capillaries that there is going to be a single layer of endothelial cells. So that was about capillaries and the blood vessels. Now let's understand about double circulation. So before understanding about double circulation, let's go back a bit in evolution. So जब evolution हो रहा था, first of all directly 4-chamber heart नहीं बना था. First of all it was a 2-chambered heart. Then there was 3-chambered heart, and so on so forth. The 4-chamber heart, the most advanced heart, was formed. So 2-chambered heart that was found in fishes. In this case the blood only flowed once through the heart. तो एक बार हार्ट से बाहर जाता था, गिल्स में जाता था, and from gills it directly moved into the body tissue. So एक ही बार हार्ट से जाता था, that was single circulation. But since the 4-chamber heart was developed, the efficiency increased to separate the oxygenated and the deoxygenated blood, because of which there was double circulation observed. So वो जैसे mammals में 4-chambered heart दिखता है, so there is going to be double circulation observed in these creatures. So the blood जैसे fishes में एक बार flow होता था, instead of that in 4-chambered heart there is going to be double circulation, wherein the blood goes twice from the heart. So ये दो बार जब heart से pass होता है, so there are going to be 2 different circulations occurring. So first circulation is about pulmonary circulation, wherein the lungs are going to be involved. और second circulation होता है, that is systemic circulation, wherein the oxygenated blood is going to supply oxygen to your body tissues. So that is going to be the systemic circulation. Now when you combine these two together, you are going to understand double circulation. So first of all, the pulmonary circulation की बात होती है. In that, the deoxygenated blood is going to be pumped in the pulmonary artery. So pulmonary artery में the carbon dioxide rich blood is going to be pumped, and since carbon dioxide rich blood flows to the lungs के वहाँ पे जाके the respiration and breathing chapter is going to start. So as you had seen the previous videos on our channel, so respiration and breathing chapter is going to completely function over here. So exchange of gases will occur, and then what is going to happen? The carbon dioxide is going to be given to the lungs or oxygen is going to be diffused in this blood. अब जैसे ही blood के अंदर oxygen is going to be mixed, it is going to be oxygenated blood. So now this oxygenated blood is going to be carried away from the lungs with the help of pulmonary veins. और pulmonary veins आके कहाँ रुकेंगी? They will stop at the left atrium. So left atrium में the oxygenated blood is going to be poured. So left atrium से now you know it is going to go into the left ventricle and वहाँ से वो aorta में pump होंगे. So from that wherein the left ventricle is pumping the blood into the aorta, that starts your systemic circulation. So systemic circulation में oxygenated blood is going to be entering into the aorta. Aorta से there are different sized blood vessels जैसे arteries, arterioles, capillaries. All this the blood is going to flow through them and reach finally to the tissues जहाँ पे exchange फिर से होगा. Oxygen will be introduced to the tissues and respiration will occur and the carbon dioxide will be dissolved in the blood, making it deoxygenated blood. अब ये deoxygenated blood is going to be collected by a system of veins and finally the largest of those, that is vena cava. So जैसे ही ये सारे systems से deoxygenated blood is going to get collected, it will be emptied in the right atrium. So right atrium में जैसे ही deoxygenated blood आएगा, it will get pumped into the right ventricle and again the pulmonary circulation will take over. So ये continuous process होते रहता है, that comes under double circulation. So now a very important point that you need to note over here कि systemic circulation जो होता है, in that there are going to be small muscular arteries. Capillaries कितनी छोटी होती है? They are very small. So because of this small little space, there is going to be a large resistance. वो blood flow आराम से नहीं हो पाएगा because it has to cover a larger area as well as the blood vessels are very small. So because of that, there is going to be time consumption in the systemic circulation. But pulmonary circulation में वैसे नहीं होता है. Pulmonary circulation takes place at a lesser time. So to match the timings between both, there needs to be extra work done by the left ventricle. The left ventricle needs to put extra efforts to pump that blood at a higher pressure. तो जैसे लेफ्ट वेंट्रिकल हायर प्रेशर पे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करता है, इन दैट केस वो ब्लड ज़्यादा प्रेशर से फ्लो होता है थ्रू द एओर्टा एंड द टाइम कैन गेट रिड्यूस्ड टू मैच द पल्मोनरी सर्कुलेशन. So because of that, the left ventricle is going to have a thicker muscular wall. Muscular walls उसके ज़्यादा thick होंगी क्योंकि उसको ज़्यादा contract करना है to release the blood at a higher pressure. Because of that reason, you can state that muscular wall of the left ventricle is going to be thicker than that of the right ventricle. So again there is a difference between the anatomy of left and the right ventricles and I have explained the reason why it actually occurs. So I hope this is clear about double circulation. Now let's move on with the next topic. Next topic है circulation through special regions. Special regions in sense circulation till now जब हमने देखा ना, that was the blood used to go from the heart like lungs में जाता था या body tissues में जाता था and again it used to come back to the heart itself. But in these special regions where circulation occurs, there is going to be a special vein that is called as portal vein. So ये जो portal vein होती है, it is not a ordinary vein that carries blood directly to the heart, but instead it is going to go where it will form a network of capillaries, not in the body tissues or lungs, other than वो कोई इंटरमीडिएट ऑर्गन या कोई और ऑर्गन में जाके कैपिलरीज बनाएंगी and then they will reach the heart. So it is not a non-stop journey, it is 1 or 2 stop journey. So you can relate like that for the portal vein. अब फर्स्ट स्पेशल सर्कुलेशन आता है that is called as renal portal system. Now this renal portal system, so what can you make out from the name? Renal means related to kidney. So renal word जहाँ पे भी आता है it is somewhat related to kidney. So अब ये kidneys से how is it related to our special regions? In the case of fishes and amphibians there is going to be the renal portal system जहाँ पे the portal vein is going to form capillaries nearby the kidney. So ये किडनी के पास में जो पोर्टल सिस्टम बनता है in that fishes and amphibians are the examples. But जैसे evolution होते गया the portal system reduced in the case of reptiles and birds and finally it was absent in mammals. So mammals like humans don't have this system, but since it was present in our earlier evolution, you need to remember the name कि renal portal system used to occur. Second special circulation is the hypophyseal portal system. So hypophyseal is the term that comes when you study about pituitary glands. So उस condition में the hypophyseal portal vein is going to collect blood from the hypothalamus. So hypothalamus, that is in your brain, in that the hypothalamus से blood collect होगा. From there it will not go to the heart but instead it will enter the interior lobe of pituitary gland. So जैसे instead of heart वो pituitary gland में गया, that is hypophyseal portal system. Third special है that is coronary circulation. Coronary circulation is going to be the flow of oxygenated blood. Important, oxygenated blood is going to flow to the ascending aorta से निकलेगा and then it will go to the heart muscles because even heart have muscles that need to produce energies for contractions and relaxations. So for that energy oxygen is required. So वो oxygen supply जो है that is provided by the ascending aorta and the return of deoxygenated blood is going to go into the right atrium. So that was about the heart's circulation, how the heart gets its oxygenated blood and gets rid of deoxygenated blood. Fourth है that is hepatic portal circulation. So hepatic portal circulation में the word hepatic is going to refer to liver. जैसे renal was related to kidneys, similarly hepatic is going to be related to liver. So in humans you can see these, that is hypophyseal, coronary and hepatic portal system. Only renal portal systems is not present in mammals. So hepatic portal circulation जो है, the flow of deoxygenated blood is going to come from the digestive organs, generally from small intestine, large intestine, stomach, spleen, all those areas से सारे deoxygenated blood collect होंगे into the hepatic portal vein and it will enter the liver. So liver में जैसे ही enter होंगे there is going to be passing through the liver and then it will return to the systemic circulation. Now why this thing occurs? Because since you have studied about liver in the digestive system, so liver is going to be the organ जहाँ पे toxicity release होती है. So whatever is consumed as toxic in your digestive system that needs to be thrown out of your body. So जो liver है it is going to get all those blood जहाँ पे सारा absorb हुआ है, that may include toxics as well. So before entering into your systemic circulation it is going to go through the liver, वो toxic को neutralize किया जाएगा and then the blood will flow into the systemic circulation. So that was one of the importance of this hepatic portal circulation. Now next topic is going अबाउट कंट्रोल एंड कोऑर्डिनेशन ऑफ हार्ट बीट. जो हार्ट बीट हमने स्टडी की थी कि देयर इज गोइंग टू बी लव एंड डब साउंड्स हर्ड बिकॉज ऑफ द क्लोजर ऑफ द वाल्व्स, बट हाउ डज द हार्ट बीट, जो आप धड़कनें सुनते हो कि तेज हो गए, स्लो डाउन हो गए, इट इज नॉर्मल, सो हाउ इज इट कंट्रोल्ड बाय योर बॉडी इज गोइंग टू बी आवर नेक्स्ट टॉपिक टू अंडरस्टैंड. यहाँ पे न्यूरल कंट्रोल काम में आता है एंड सेकेंड इज द केमिकल कंट्रोल. सो न्यूरल कंट्रोल, हाउ इज इट गोइंग टू डू? न्यूरल कंट्रोल के लिए देर इज अ सेंटर इन द मेडुला ऑब्लोंगेटा. सो मेडुला ऑब्लोंगेटा इज गोइंग टू हैव अ कार्डियक सेंटर that is going to regulate your heartbeats. अब cardiac center है, in that there can be a cardiac inhibitor या फिर a cardiac accelerator, यानी heartbeats को you have to decrease it to the normal state or you want to increase it. So when the cardiac inhibitor is functioning, it is going to happen by the parasympathetic nervous system. So parasympathetic nervous system you might have heard about in your lower classes as well. So parasympathetic nervous system is going to help to reduce the heartbeats to the normal state. So parasympathetic nervous system में there is a cranial nerve called as vagus nerve which is going to be attached to the SAN. अब SAN क्या होता है? SAN is sinoarterial node. So it is going to be present in your right atrium. So when it is attached to this node, हमने देखा है how the muscles are going to get the action potentials from this node. So when the vagus nerve sends signal from the parasympathetic nervous system, तो वो जो nerves है, they are going to release acetylcholine. So acetylcholine is a neurotransmitter. When this acetylcholine is released and the signals are getting by the SA node, then the heartbeat is going to decrease and come to the normal state. और normal state कितना होता है? It is 72 times per minute. Generally average human being has 72 times per minute. So किसी के धड़कने अगर 110, 120, if it has reached that levels for a certain amount of time, so it needs to come back again to the normal average state. So acetylcholine is going to be released in that conditions. Now cardiac accelerator, sometimes you need your heartbeats to be faster. So in that case, cardiac accelerator condition is going to start. So that is because of the sympathetic nervous system. So parasympathetic और sympathetic nervous system किसके अंडर आते हैं? It is under autonomous nervous system. So autonomous nervous system is going to have parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system. So sympathetic nervous system में there are going to be nerve fibers that are going to secrete adrenaline or noradrenaline. Because of these two neurotransmitters, the heart rate is going to increase. So जब धड़कनें बढ़ जाती है, you can understand that adrenaline had been released from the sympathetic nerves. Now that was about the neural control. अब chemical control कैसे होता है? In the case of emergencies. So emergencies, किसी कुत्ते आपके पीछे पड़ गए and you are scared of dogs, then what is going to happen? You are going to either fight or you are going to run away from that situation. So when you get scared or when you get nervous, what is going to happen? Your adrenal medulla is going to release two hormones, and these two hormones are adrenaline and noradrenaline. Now you might think कि हमने ये neural control में भी दो नाम सुने, but why is they coming back in chemical control? Now to remember, adrenaline and noradrenaline are hormones as well as neurotransmitters. वो दोनों के तरह काम करते हैं. So the names occur in both the controls. So adrenaline and noradrenaline in chemical control, जब adrenaline medulla से release होते हैं, they are going to increase the heartbeat. So adrenaline generally तब release होता है when you have emergency conditions, when you need to fight or you need to run away. In those conditions, this adrenaline is going to increase the heartbeat. वो strength of heart contractions को increase करेगा, and when the heartbeat increases, you know the cardiac output is going to increase. So that was the effect under the adrenaline. Second आ सकता है in an indirect form, like thyroid gland is going to release thyroxine hormone. Now this thyroxine hormone has a function to have metabolism in the body cells. Metabolism yani the respiratory rate or the making of energy or utilization of that, all those parts come under metabolism. So metabolism increase होने की वजह से the requirement of oxygen increases. And now you know that when oxygen requirement increases, the heart has a tendency to increase its pumping efficiency. So जब pumping बढ़ती है, indirectly the heart rate is going to increase. So indirectly you can say because of thyroxine also your heartbeat is going to increase. So that was about chemical control and the neural control, how the heartbeats increase and decrease in your body. Depending upon the conditions, your body is going to adjust your heartbeats. So with this we complete our study about these little topics that you need to cover to understand the holistic view of this chapter. So with this we stop this video here. We will come back with one more amazing chapter video. So to stay tuned with Biophilia, you have to like, share and subscribe, hit the bell icon. We will come back with the last part of this chapter in the next few days. Till then, you have to stay connected, keep smiling, keep studying, stay safe, stay motivated. Thank you.